Can you say one?
Yeah, there's like different memes. There's all these like AI produced images of like tung 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 tung. And I started saying them, and y'all looked at me like, what? They seem like
His aura is cool.
he has aura.
He
He
has
has
aura.
major aura.
I don't
Yes.
know what that means. I have no idea what people
Like his
mean when they say aura.
his spirit, his vibe, his
Vibe is another one.
Vibe.
Just like his presence is like.
How about
just-
gravitas?
his
Gravitas.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Gravitas is aura.
That's
That's
aura?
what it is
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah.
Bobvabot. Yeah. What up, guys?
What's up, man? How was the trip, dude?
It's amazing, man.
You went to the Pope's funeral
Yeah.
and you were there when the white smoke came
Yeah.
out? And then you missed the other one?
Yeah, I saw the funeral.
Okay.
His brother stayed with me for the other thing.
My brother did stay.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was worth it, man.
I would. I mean, I'd hope so.
I didn't think I was gonna see it, bro. Because I mean, 2 days. It seemed. I mean, it just kind of tells you about how little we know about the conclave and about the cardinals and what they're gonna decide. Because I mean, everybody was saying that it's gonna take a while. That's what I thought.
You were
for
planning
sure.
to leave the next day, huh?
I was gonna leave either way.
Right.
Either way, I was leaving the next morning.
The next morning, okay.
So it was like morning time by you guys when the white smoke came out. It
Yeah.
was evening time there. It was the last
Oh, that was
ballot.
it.
That was my
it.
last chance.
Oh,
And I 100% did not think it was gonna happen. Like
What a clutch
100%.
I know.
Yeah.
it was really entertaining to me to see all the people with all their speculating 100% this, 100%. There's no way it'll be this. There's no way it'll be that. It's an American. It's
Yeah.
an early, like everybody was wrong. It makes me so happy when
Yeah, I know, man. Big time.
people
Big
their
time.
speculation. They think it's so true. Oh, everybody knows.
On a
Yeah.
daily basis, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the conversations that people would be having about this, as if anyone knows anything about anything.
I know,
related to
man.
this.
Big time.
This
So
is one of the reasons gossip is a sin. Let me moralize this a little bit. Let's learn a lesson
Yeah.
from this. One of the many reasons gossip is a sin is that it takes extremely uncertain knowledge and acts as if it's certain. And then after a rumor goes around a couple of times, it's no longer, oh, maybe. It's now everybody knows.
Mhm.
And everybody knows something that's totally false sometimes. And that's just like
So you said gossip is taking extremely uncertain knowledge?
one of the reasons why it's wrong.
One of the reasons. Okay.
One of the many reasons why it's wrong and a sin is that it's taking something totally maybe
Okay.
or totally false, even worse, and acting as if it's totally certain.
Yeah. But what if it's certain? Like, talking about gossip as a
In
as
which
a
case,
sin.
if it's 100% certain, you saw it with your own eyes, the reason it's a sin is that it's none of your business.
Yeah.
And if you have something to say about that person, you go and talk to them.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's not like, people's actions are our entertainment. Like we can just talk about
And
it.
if you're scandalized by it and you think, oh my gosh, that was so bad for that person, okay, here's their number. Go call them. What
Yeah.
are you telling me for?
It's also Father Tristan's third priestly
Yeah, man.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
3 years, man.
3 years, just like that.
Thank you.
Today is the
Yeah.
day.
3
day of the
years.
filming.
Yeah, the day of the filming. Not when
Yeah.
you're gonna watch
Yeah.
this.
How does
Then
it feel?
It feels like I'm still a priest.
Good, good. I'm glad.
3 years, bro. It's actually kind of like I was reflecting a little bit this morning, and it's gone by very fast. I've spent most of my time at St. Joseph, so it's been really cool.
And it was a brand new parish when you moved in, right?
Mhm.
When you started?
Brand
That's
new.
exciting. Like
It
brand
still
new
feels
priest.
brand new.
Yeah. Brand new
But-
priest, brand new church. That's cute.
Mm.
Yeah, but like
Baby
imagine
priest.
like how confused I was.
Yeah. For sure.
You're
You're
doing
thrown into it. There's nothing established.
Oh,
I think you're doing a good job, man.
thank you, love you.
No, thank
Doing a
you
great
for
job,
your yes to God.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been nice. I'm very happy. Like today, I was very reflective. Celebrated mass here at St. John's actually
Wow.
with Deacon Brother Augustine.
Oh,
next
nice.
to me.
Yeah. A lot of stuff going on, man.
He was ordained a deacon. He and Mark were ordained deacons the day the Pope was.
Oh, yeah, that's
elected.
right. So, like, one of them read the new Pope's name in the Mass, right?
Mark.
Yeah, it was more.
yeah.
He was the first person ever, I think.
I
to-
still haven't said his name in the mass
Oh,
because
yeah.
every mass I've done I've had a deacon next to me, so I still haven't said his name.
I was betting that I would accidentally say Francis because I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And you've been saying Francis for 9 years?
12 years, 13 years.
12,
right?
13? Really?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you get into the habit of saying it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was like focused, like, no, gotta say Pope Leo XIV. And,
Yeah.
then I did it.
You did?
You know, it's not just Deacon Mark and Brother Augustine too. In Michigan, they ordained also two
yeah.
two guys, deacons, Brandon and
Brandon?
then this other Lucian, I think his
Lucian,
name is.
yeah.
I was there.
You were,
Oh, you were there?
I was there
that?
for my niece's first communion. And then they reminded me, they're like, oh, there's this diaconate, why don't you come? Bishop Francis. I think he told me or whatever, one of the priests. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. I know Brandon. He's a good dude and whatever. I don't know the other guy. So I was like, let me see. I had something planned, but I kind of moved it and I went for
Nice.
just the ordination part.
Oh, nice.
And then I
So,
left.
it's kind of cool that in 1 week, we got 4 new deacons in the
That's
Chaldean
amazing.
church here in the United States.
amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Transitional deacons.
Yeah.
Which means we're going to have 4 priests very
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
So you were there for your niece's first communion,
Yep.
right?
St. Joseph's. The other St. Joseph's.
The other St. Joseph's.
The real St. Joseph's.
The real St. Joseph's.
OG St. Joseph's.
There's a lot of St. Joseph's in the world, guys. It's okay.
But another super cool thing. So we were just talking about this like briefly before, but today at the main altar in St. Peter's Basilica,
Oh,
there was a
that
Chaldean
sick.
Rite Mass presided over by our patriarch, and all the Eastern churches had representatives there too. It's part of like the Jubilee program for the Jubilee year. But I was watching clips of it to see our Mass being chanted, our hymns being sung there in St. Peter's Basilica. I didn't think I would
Like on the main
see that.
altar too.
Yes.
Was it the main altar?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the one,
Oh, I didn't
it was
watch the
the whole
clips
altar
yet.
of the Holy Spirit. It was
Yeah,
so,
the one that has the Holy Spirit thing.
Oh, the one all the way in the
all
back.
the way
Yeah,
at the
So
end.
not the central altar with the baldacchino.
But yeah, you keep going.
It's
And it's the-
so not on that one. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That's
And-
awesome.
You know? It was,
It was,
It was
ad
It
Orient.
was ad Orientalum and it was
Yeah.
beautiful and very
'Cause
Eastern.
They did it with the Syro Malabar Major Archbishop, right? Like it was a joint thing.
Syro Malabar.
Nice.
There was the Malankar church was there. There was Maronite priests there. It was all these Eastern.
But it was the
churches there.
Chaldean Mass that was
Chaldean Rite
celebrated.
Mass was
The
celebrated.
Anafra was Ed and Mari.
Yeah.
Nice.
We also did that. It was actually pretty like random how it worked out, where like the whole beginning of our trip had to change because of the Pope's funeral, Alam Haseda, Pope Francis, and so we had a mass scheduled that weekend. We were gonna go. One of the days was scheduled for just the canonization of Blessed Carlo, which obviously didn't happen.
That was a Sunday.
That was on Sunday, yeah. And it was on Saturday we were supposed to do mass at the Basilica of St. Mary Major and like one of the side chapels. But then ended up that moved to Sunday because the funeral was on Saturday. So I was shocked that they still allowed us to do mass in that church because that's where Pope Francis
They had just
that's where his
placed
body
his
was.
body.
That's where they put his body. So like it was so so
packed, huh?
crazy.
Was
Like
it really packed?
on the
Yeah.
day of the funeral, like
Yeah.
I mean, there
What
was
about
like
what about the Sunday where you celebrated Mass?
the
there?
Sunday wasn't as crazy actually.
Okay.
Like I was actually shocked that I mean we
still
just
was,
waited
though,
in line.
man.
It still was very packed.
we waited and then
Yeah,
but
but-
we were also waiting in line to go through the holy doors.
we did the holy doors in the basilica, and we waited to see the body of where Pope Francis.
What is
Where he was
Rome
late?
like when it's shoulder to shoulder packed? What does that feel like? Is it like energizing, like you feel like, oh, I'm connected to all these people, or is it just annoying and sweaty?
Both,
Yeah?
yeah, kind of both.
Yeah.
I've never
Honestly,
experienced Rome.
not
It
like
wasn't
this.
Not like that.
Yeah.
So.
I went
thought it was
once.
cool.
It was there was an audience after something. I think it was during my World Youth Day trip in 2005, 20 years ago. We went to the people audience, and that was Pope Benedict.
Mm.
And that was the most crowded that I felt in Rome. It wasn't that there was no event, but it was an audience. So you have to wait in line, and then there's security and whatever, and then you're inside of that big, what's that building called? The really ugly building.
The Pope Paul VI Hall.
Paul VI.
with like the weird image.
That's the sorry, it's just really ugly. But you go there, and by the time you get inside, it's not crowded anymore because everyone has a seat, and they don't let any extra people in.
Oh, I see.
So there, you don't even feel like it's crowded. So when you see the pictures of like all of St. Peter's Square just packed and everybody's chanting or praying together, I've never experienced that.
Yeah. We experienced that twice.
Yeah.
For the viewing of Pope Francis, we waited for like, I don't know, 4 hours maybe, just
And
to
that
see
was
his body.
after we like landed.
Yeah.
Right after we
Right-
landed.
oh
my gosh.
Yeah, because
was
there
there.
was like a deadline. They were going to close it at 7 p.m. to prepare for the funeral the next morning. So we went to see his body. And then after that, we connected with Bishop Basilio and Patriarch Sacco. and we just like met them right outside
Yeah.
St. Peter's Square. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
And then they joined us. It was random. Like I didn't think they would be able to like one day before, but they joined us for that mass at St. Mary.
I saw the pictures.
St. Mary Major. So we can celebrated with the
We did.
patriarch
And Bishop Basilio.
and Bishop Basilio, and his sister Chelsea served that mass too.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
It's
Yeah.
like a funny picture. It's like Chelsea, and the Alb, and the Bishop Basilio and the Patriarch.
I was telling them that's I think my favorite picture I've seen from their whole trip is
that one?
You have Chelsea.
We can show that picture, Andrew.
Chelsea who's like dressed as an altar server sitting. She has a picture with Bishop Basilio and the patriarch.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's
down.
amazing.
That mass
Yeah.
was cool though. We the altar was beautiful. Like it was a little side chapel. The acoustics were really nice. It was 4 of us facing the cross, myself and then Bishop Basilio, the Patriarch, and you.
Yeah,
Which altar was it when you go in and you're facing the main altar?
It's
The
the
right or
first
the
one
left?
on the left.
On the left.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, later that day, all of the cardinals were in that same space. Wow. Yeah, later that day. So that was cool. How did you? I don't know if we ever spoke about this, but like we were relying on the patriarch and Bishop Basilio on their
Oh
books,
my gosh.
and they only had the mass in Gushma,
Yeah.
and like he would tell us to say it in English, certain parts.
Yeah.
And so we had to
Translate on the spot.
as much as you've memorized,
Yeah.
you just lose it all at that moment because you're
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at it in another language and you're like, where the heck
Yeah.
am I right now? You know?
Same thing happened to me when I was in Duhok recently, and he came there as a surprise to celebrate Mass. I think he probably used the same book
Yeah.
that I had in front of me at that
It was
time.
like a little blue.
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
blue-
Yeah.
the blue
Exactly. And I was like so
one. It's in
thrown
Arabic
off.
and it's in Gushma.
Yeah, I was so thrown off by that.
Yeah,
Good
but
work, guys.
Yeah.
I think you did a good job.
I think we did. I think
Yeah.
it was like I was trying to go off memory, and then okay, oh yeah, this is what this means. And then
Trigger your
Yeah.
memory.
But at some point, I just like started saying it in Gushma just because I was lost. Bro.
Yeah.
But
Okay, let me ask you like a kind of a related question to this. These are big events, right?
Mhm.
Pope's funeral and then the election and then these like and you visit with the patriarch and these like kind of they're big deals.
Mhm.
And like it's I think the experience of those is very powerful. It leaves an impression. You remember it maybe the rest of your life, right? How important do you think those are in a kind of objectively in the big picture of human life compared to sort of the day-to-day, little, I don't know, you can make it spiritual, like, okay, the
Yeah,
daily
yeah.
prayers or the daily service of others to others.
yeah.
How do you think all that balances out?
I can give an example.
Yeah.
It was that Sunday, and we were visiting. We were going through all the holy doors and all the churches, and it's just so crowded, so busy, and there's this adrenaline rush that surrounding everything that you're saying. And we went to the cathedral or the Church of the Holy Cross.
Holy Cross, yeah.
Holy Cross.
Which has like one of the biggest relics of the cross of Jesus.
And the cross of Jesus and the inscription that was placed on the cross, as well as some of the thorns, I think.
a nail.
Nails. So that church, it was less crowded than everywhere else. And we spent a lot of time there, maybe like an hour. And it was just a moment where we can just be silent, sit, reflect, and pray.
Mhm.
And I was at peace.
Mhm.
And I think that balance of that, all the chaos, I experienced it there because you can't just live like that the whole time.
Yeah.
Your entire life can't just be go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go, go, go. You'll burn out.
Even if it's amazing, beautiful
Even if it's
things.
amazing, beautiful
yeah,
things,
yeah.
you still need your silence and contemplative time with God.
Yeah.
And that, as a priest, was very fulfilling and like spiritually nourishing. Just being able to sit there and experience and just reflect and pray and enjoy God was really nice.
And for me, the best part about all of it actually was being with the other pilgrims, who were from our church communities too, and people that we're close to, and also other people that we met and got the opportunity to get close to. So if I was experiencing it by myself, it wouldn't have been that cool at all.
That is an important part of it.
I think I've told all you guys this so far. I'm pretty sure, but that was why is that the coolest part? Well, as priests, we see these people, and it's like we're familiar with them, and like we love them, and we see them at church. But a lot of it is like high and by. You know, you catch them after mass in the rush, and they go with their families and they go home. But then, like when you're on a pilgrimage, visiting and spending a lot of time with them, you actually get to know them and spend time with them and like have real conversations, not just hi and bye and I'll see you next week at mass and things like that. So having that and doing all these things with them was definitely a grace.
So you can't do just the intense stuff over and over and over again, because then you burn out. So you sort of need the quiet stuff there.
Yeah.
Is the reverse true? Like if you just live kind of just a quiet, reflective life, is it important to do something special once in a while?
I would say so.
Right? I think that's kind of what Sabbath and pilgrimages and like even the journeys to Jerusalem that people were doing in Jesus' time, I think there's something meaningful about that as well.
It's something about the human life.
Yeah. You kind of want to you need a little bit of a change. You need to do something special. Because some people are just so like work, and then that's it. And they don't even think about there's more to life.
Yeah.
And there's other people that is just like one vacation after another. Like some wealthier people are able to do that. And I feel like in both of those cases, you're going to feel something is missing. Maybe in the case of pure vacation life, they're going to feel kind of empty. In the case of the just pure work life, they're going to feel a different kind of emptiness. Maybe like, I don't know, there's something... I don't want to say it's not joyful, because silence is a very joyful thing sometimes, and it can be. Yeah. One of my favorite experiences was like when I went to Iraq. I went to Iraq once in 2014 with my parents, and then there was we went to see, I think one of the holiest places to me in the world is Rabban Hormuz Monastery. So it was a beautiful time of year, and everything was green, and the weather was awesome. And so we were walking around, and I said, you know what, I want to go up there. Everyone does this part. I want to go kind of above it. So I started walking up above the big church in Rabban Hormuz, kind of into the mountains. And I'm walking, and I spent a while just kind of walking up, and then I had to kind of climb, and then I had to kind of like hop over some walls and rocks and stuff like that. And I kind of scraped myself, hurt myself, but I'm like, I just want to see what it's like all the way up there, because I knew there were little caves that were carved out by the monks many centuries ago, and they lived up there, not even in the monastery. Hermits, Anwaya, hermits lived in those little things.
Anwaya?
Yeah, Anwaya means somebody who's conversing. So somebody who's conversing with God only is an Anwaya, which means they're a hermit. They just live up in the mountains. That's it. And so I'm like, I want to see what that was like. So I climbed and climbed and climbed. It took me a long time to get up there. Finally, I got to some of these like carved in things, and they're bigger than you think. And I'm walking in, and I'm like, and there I was by myself. It was totally quiet, and I just had this moment. I'm like, man, there was a monk that nobody knows, like unnamed monk, that spent his entire life in this place and was praying to God all day. And I'm here where this guy was, and I just felt, and this is the view that he had, and this is the air that he was breathing, and I felt really like kind of connected to this monk that I have no idea who he is.
Wow.
That was a really kind of powerful experience for me. And then I took a picture from up there of the monastery and the road that goes up to it in the mountains. And it's the best picture I've ever taken in my life. It's like the perfect. I've seen like Alkosh websites use my photograph.
Is that the one that's been on your background of the computer?
Is my background on my computer on my phone forever since then.
That's an amazing picture.
Yeah. But like that was, so to me, that was the experience. The part that I'm like, that I didn't have at that moment was the connection with others that you were talking about. Because there I was with my parents, but I left them there at the church. Okay, I'm like, I just want to go, let me be a hermit and do this hermit thing. But then I returned to them and I shared the experience. So there's always the connection with others there. That's why I was asking about the crowds, what that feels like.
Honestly, it was the crowds. We were in line to visit the Pope's body. And like, you're in line, it's very crowded.
And
4
you're
hours,
like pushing in.
You become a little bit delirious. So I was trolling a little bit. And then we found like a group of Italian kids. And I was like, I wasn't messing with them, but I was like, we were just talking. And we were laughing together. And we were talking about Italian memes, actually.
Can you say one?
Yeah, there's like different memes. There's all these like AI produced images of like tung 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 tung. And I started saying them. And they all looked at me like, what? Like, see my collar?
Like, how does he know?
How does he know? And I asked them, like, what does this mean? And they're like, oh, these are Italian meme.
So cute, bro.
We just started talking and having a conversation. Like,
What if it was something bad that you were saying and you didn't know what it was?
No, I knew, like, I saw the videos and I saw, like, it's just like,
It was
it's
innocent.
just weird. It's just like innocent. Like,
Okay.
they're just,
Okay.
the guy has a baseball bat. Like, well, I don't know. There's,
I
it's like a
love
story.
one of the things that's really fun to me is the like
Yeah,
meeting a
Bumble.
random stranger and just somehow like
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a joke with them or like
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
just a moment. And I love that stuff.
Bombadero, crocodilo.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Throughout the trip, did anyone recognize you, Father Simon?
Yeah,
Huh?
a couple times.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
The famous father son.
You know, every like church I look and it's like these guys talking to a random family. that,
Every
like,
church?
Not every church.
Bro, the video that you took of him, did you take that video of he was getting interviewed by somebody in the middle of St. Peter's Square?
Maybe. There was one I was.
Yeah,
he was
I saw a video.
someone was taking a photo shoot of him.
That's what it was. It was that.
At the Pope's funeral mass, like after,
Oh, after. Okay.
and then yeah.
Couple times, huh?
One of the things that, like, based on your question that I was thinking about, which is like for our people, it was really cool because our people, like on this trip, you know, they've been going to St. Michael and St. Joseph churches all their lives. And now they're seeing a completely different side of what it means to be Catholic. You know, they're in the center of the Catholic Church, and they're seeing all these people, and they don't understand the languages, and they're meeting people, and they're experiencing that. So I think that's an amazing thing to experience and to bring back with you. You know, that unity with the church.
But a lot of pilgrims though, like the most of the nice people we met and talked to were also pilgrims.
Yeah.
From either other parts of Italy or whatever. And then, but I was kind of surprised to see like the faith in Italy outside of these holy places feels like it's just
Weak.
it's not there, very weak.
I think I've heard a lot of you.
And I was asking, we had a tour guide in Assisi, and he's telling us all these amazing things about St. Francis, and I asked him, I don't know why, I said, are you Christian? And he said, no. I said, have you been baptized? He goes, yeah, but like I'm basically atheist. I don't believe in it.
And he was the tour guide.
He was a tour guide.
He was a tour guide, and
And then I was
he knew
very,
all these facts, all these miracles and stuff.
I was curious and interested, and I was asking him like, okay, so is this how like most of Italy is? He goes, yeah. Most of Italy is like this.
It's like
They just-
post-Christian.
they don't believe, and like in the south is you get more like actual Catholics, but the north and whatever, it's
Yeah, that reminds me. I was telling you guys the other day when I was there a couple of years ago with Bishop Shalita and a group that we went with. He just kept pointing out how small family sizes are now on average. So it kind of tells you the direction that it's moving in socially and culturally.
I mean, we see that in America. So when you go somewhere else,
America's a much more religious country than I think almost any Western country.
European.
yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I thought we were the worst.
No.
And then you go to Italy and you see like, oh man, it's
Yeah, like
I think exceptions would be like Poland. I think Poland is still very Catholic.
Croatia,
Croatia.
maybe.
Croatia is still very Catholic.
And like Austria. I think there are some places that are like, okay, there's still
Georgia
kind of
maybe too.
identity.
at least like Orthodox.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But like, you think, oh, France and like Italy and whatever. I don't know what Portugal is like, but like a lot of these places, oh, Germany was like the seat of the Protestant Reformation. You think, but I don't know if they even, England, all these, I don't think they even care about even Christian roots. It's just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So we are gonna start doing a new segment now. At some point during each episode, we spoke about this, where we're gonna be talking about one of the messages of Pope Leo of that week, one of his homilies, or something that he spoke about, one of his speeches, just a brief excerpt. So we'll find a name for this segment. I don't know.
Pope reactions.
Maybe people can help us think of a name.
Are we gonna put like a transition with like a jingle?
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
song.
why not?
I was about to say
Yeah,
that.
Dude.
yeah. Let's
Like the
do
old
that.
Nokia ringtone.
Yeah,
I don't know
let's
why I
do
thought
it.
of that.
Something
That's a
along
good
those
one.
lines.
Like a cool thing,
They used to do that in what, clerically speaking.
Yeah. Should give a shout out to Clerically Speaking right now.
Shout out Clerically
Yeah,
Speaking.
so some of
podcast.
you, yeah, there's a podcast also called Clerically Speaking. I think they've kind of slowed down in their rate of episodes, But these two priests, Father Anthony and Father Harrison, it was really beneficial for me in the seminary, that podcast, because they would bring up a wide range of topics from the perspective of a priest. And they had a good structure to their podcast with their transitions, and
they're like cool, they're funny, and like they would
normal guys.
They would like make it very interesting.
If you have ideas for other segments we could do to structure a little bit more,
they had segments. They had like Twitter. They had something from like Twitter.
Yeah,
they would,
reactions.
Summa Tweetologica.
Yeah.
I would honestly love a segment where we looked at Father Andy's Twitter.
Oh no,
every week.
That's a bad idea. I had one. Okay, so the Pope was holding like something, and so Michael Barber just kind of did a very primitive, like a funny thing where he took one of his books and had the Pope hold it up, and it was very obviously like. So then I'm like, oh, it's a good idea. So I stole it from Michael, and I had Andrew Photoshop my philosophy book, my Matter of Mathematics, into the Pope's hands because he was a mathematician, or he has a degree in math.
He majored in math.
We should at least put that picture up.
Well, so we'll post it.
Yeah.
So Andrew's really talented at Photoshop, so it looks really good. But I thought it's obvious the Pope in his first day is not going to hold up my book.
Yeah.
I thought it was obvious that it's fake and it was a joke, right? There's some people that think it's real.
No way.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, so I have to do it. And then I immediately tweeted, like right afterwards, I replied to it, hey, this is a Photoshop. It's by Andrew. Like, I don't want anybody to get misled. And I think people still, like, I feel bad now. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to delete it, but like, I don't feel that bad.
Hopefully the book sales go up.
Well, then Catholic University Press replied.
Oh, they did?
Or they quoted, it's their book, right? So they quote tweeted me and they made some funny comment about it. It was a joke on sine and cosine, like the Pope knows about sin and sine and cosine, whatever. So then I replied, I'm like, hey, after this papal endorsement, maybe it's a good time for a paperback, which I've been begging them to do a paperback for years.
Nice. So put them on blast.
We'll see.
I like the direction this is going.
Yeah. Forget a paper. I would be so happy. Okay, sorry. What's the thing? Read the thing so we can.
Okay, so Pope segment, Pope Leo segment, whatever we call it.
Leo the Lion.
Leo the Lion.
Bro, the 14th is sick.
I like it.
Leo the 14th.
It was a good number.
It is.
Okay, so this is in his
777.
first mass he did with the cardinals on the next day in the Sistine Chapel. Okay, so he speaks about how all of us have to give the same response that St. Peter gave. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. This is when Jesus gave Peter the keys. And he says that he has to say this first about himself as the successor of St. Peter and all of us as Christians. And he says, as I begin my mission as the Bishop of Rome, according to the well-known expression of St. Ignatius of Antioch, he's called to preside in charity over the universal church. So then he says the story of St. Ignatius. He says that St. Ignatius was led in chains to this city, the place of his impending sacrifice. And he wrote to the Christians there, "Then I will truly be a disciple of Jesus Christ when the world no longer sees my body." Ignatius was speaking about being devoured by wild beasts in the arena, and so it happened. But his words apply more generally to an indispensable commitment for all those in the church who exercise a ministry of authority. It is to move aside so that Christ may remain, to make oneself small so that he may be known and glorified, to spend oneself to the utmost so that all may have the opportunity to know and love him. May God grant me this grace today and always through the loving intercession of Mary, Mother of the Church.
I like that.
Amen.
My reaction?
Amen. What's your reaction?
Is it's the theology behind that is very powerful, because you as a leader in the, so he's talking about leaders in the church. He's saying, me and I as Pope, this is what I have to do. There's two things that have to happen at the same time. One, you have to actually be present and do your job. But two, what it is to do your job is to get out of the way and let Christ work. And so it's not, you can't take just half of that as absolute of like, let Christ work and get out of the way. Okay, that means I'm just going to leave. Like, bye, I'm going to go home and play video games.
I'm not going to do anything.
I'm not going to do anything. No, it doesn't mean that. It means you do it and you do everything to the fullest of your power, and you take your responsibility very seriously and you make every sacrifice in order to do that. And at the same time, you draw zero attention to yourself. And you never make it about you and your preferences and your mood or whatever. You always make it about Christ, and you always draw the attention to Christ. And that's a skill that takes practice, and that's very difficult for a human being to do. Because when you do something, you sort of naturally want credit for it. But what a leader in the church and priests in particular do is what we accomplish is never by our own merits. It's the graces and sacraments that Christ provides to the church. So it isn't from me, even though it's through me. And so I do the work, but I don't really deserve any of the credit. That's just the fact of the priesthood. I think that's what he's talking about. Especially with leadership, you think, oh, you're in charge means you get everything you want. Not in the church. Christ said it's not going to be that way among you. In the church, you're in charge means you get nothing you want. So he says to St. Peter, like, somebody else will lead you when you're old.
Yeah.
And so you give up everything that you want so that Christ gets everything that he wants. And that's what it is to lead in the church. That's. I mean, it's a kind of a challenging thing to hear.
It is
for every priest to hear.
Yeah. And this touches on one of my favorite lines in all of Scripture, when St. Paul says in Galatians 2, verse 20, I have been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So kind of going off what Father Andy just said, it's not that I have to go retreat and do absolutely nothing and be completely passive. I'm doing the work of Christ. I'm with Christ. It's like what we were talking about last week when he appoints the 12. He appoints them not just so that they can have a position and hold a title and he just does all the work, but for them to be with him, for their reservoir to be filled with all of the graces that he has to give, the example that he has to give. And that's a very active thing to say. I've been crucified with Christ. That's not standing in the background behind the scenes. That's active work in the vineyard of the Lord.
And that's real humility.
Yeah.
Humility is not just not showing off or not. It's allowing Christ to use you, but his face to be shown.
Yeah. Stepping away when it becomes about you.
Stepping away, exactly.
Yeah. You know, like at the end of this discussion, like the question that I'm kind of left thinking about is that enough? Is that enough for you? As a Christian, as a disciple of Christ, as a priest who wants to accept that kind of calling, as a Christian mother or father who wants to accept that kind of calling, is it enough for you that the mission is to let Christ be shown in all your works? Is that enough, or is that unacceptable? Is that too challenging? Is that too inconvenient? That's something I think we have to meditate on regularly.
And is it not going to meet your expectations and your desires?
Yeah.
You know?
I want to like bounce off that for a little bit. One of the things that helps me come to terms with these like extreme challenges that Christ gives us as Christians, but especially as leaders within the church. One of the ways I come to terms with that is to think about, what is it that I'm losing? Okay, I have Christ take the credit and not me. I really like thinking about, okay, what is it that I'm missing out on? The thing that I'm missing out on is actually kind of worthless. Like, okay, what am I missing out? I'm not getting credit. Who cares? What do you mean get credit? It's sinful human beings with bad judgment giving me credit. What does that mean to anyone? Who cares? Why should I? It's kind of like the thing that I feel like I'm sacrificing is not even a sacrifice in the end. For God to be glorified is much better because that's true. Whereas a bag of water saying something nice about another bag of water, who's getting anything out of that? Maybe it's stroking my ego, but what does that mean? It's deceptive anyway. That person, okay, they're going to say something nice about me. What do they know?
I think you're much more than a bag of water.
I'm a bag of water that knows how to read.
And write.
I know I can write a couple sentences sometimes, yeah. But I just want to like bring it down to that. When people get so obsessed with being praised and being liked and being like famous and stuff like that, what actually is that? It's a bunch of words that probably the people don't even mean because they flatter you and they're like, some people are not even honest about that. That's one. And second, even if they mean it, how do they know you? Their judgment is based on just external things. It's really God that judges the heart. So just the praise of human beings and the credit that you get and all of that, we're not missing anything.
Yeah.
You know? And when parents they make the sacrifices and they don't get the thank you and the whatever, what does the thank you really even mean? It's nice to be appreciated. I get that. But like the joy in knowing that you've done something good and that somebody benefited from your life, that's actually objectively better than the words that somebody would use to say something to you, you know?
And that experience is genuine rather than like ingenuine, because when you're being flattered and this and that, as you were saying, it might not be like, these are not genuine human relationships.
Yeah.
And what we want are genuine relationships.
Authentic, honest.
Authentic, honest.
Yeah.
You want that with people because that's what God gives you.
Yeah.
Uh,
With that's actually worth it, but not because you've been praised, but because you've connected with somebody.
yes. And
It's the connection and the love that's there.
And where's the genuineness coming and like the love leads to? Leads to sacrifice. And sacrifice is pouring out, which is removing yourself for the sake of the other and allowing Christ to be given to them.
Yeah, look at the Pope's example, actually. Like he had a chance to go to Harvard. He left Harvard to go to Peru to serve and minister to the poor, and he stayed there for 20 years. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't thinking like, oh, I want to go and be great and eventually be the Pope one day. Like,
I think he actively resisted becoming bishop and cardinal.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Talk about it like publicly, like
God
you
bless
know,
him, man.
Yeah.
So that's just the example that we have, that he served and he really humbled himself, and he made the mission about, serving the least of these.
I just love that we have a pope that can speak English as a
I
first
know, it's
language.
so sick, dude.
And he might, like, if he's watching this right now, like,
We're praying for you. We love you. We love you, Holy Father.
we love you, hopefully, the 14th. Yeah.
He just started an Instagram page. I followed it immediately.
Yeah. Did he follow you back?
Let's be.
I like this as a first kind of message, as a foundational message. It kind of sets the tone for discipleship,
Yeah,
for
sure.
ministry.
He has a beautiful, like, simple voice. Have you heard him sing the...
Yeah, you said Regina
Salve
Cheli.
Regina.
One of those Mary.
Regina
Regina
Cheli.
Cheli. That
Regina
was so
Cheli.
beautiful, dude.
He didn't follow me back.
He didn't follow you.
didn't
You checked.
I'm really sad.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I just want him to go one of these days, maybe, like, before a Wednesday audience and sing...
Oh, man.
Well, we just got Chaldean Mass in St. Peter's,
Yeah.
so like one step at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
I like also no offense to Pope Francis, was getting old and elderly and stuff. I like that we have a pope who's kind of light on his feet. Like
Yeah.
he looks healthy. He can interact and joke with everybody like in a very like convenient, comfortable
God
way.
bless him, man. He's
You know?
almost 70 though. Like
I
he's
know, I
younger.
know.
Yeah.
I'm 45 and I'm ready to check out, man. That's
Yeah.
God bless him.
His aura is cool.
He has aura.
He
He has
has aura.
major aura.
I don't
Yes.
know what that means. I have no idea what people
Like his
mean when they say aura.
his spirit, his vibe is
Vibe is another one.
Vibe.
Just like his presence is like...
How about
just-
gravitas?
his
Gravitas.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Gravitas is aura.
That's
That's
aura?
what it is,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
He's the guy.
Pope Leo.
How about when he was celebrating Mass in Peter's tomb? We were just there.
I
And
know.
he was praying by Benedict's tomb, St. John Paul II.
Yeah.
We were all in those spots.
Yeah.
We're praying for you, Holy Father, and please pray for us.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
I hope that like people can also not be negative about the Pope, like we see like immediately when he was elected, we saw all of this stuff about him as a cardinal and as a bishop and as a priest, and people criticizing him and what he's going to be like and stuff. But this is our Pope. This is our leader.
I think
He's our father.
There's two parts to this. I think one of them is, first of all, things that when people do something wrong, it's very valid to critique that. When they've done something wrong, this is something, and I think it looks like it's wrong, whatever it is. On the other hand, people are critiquing what he's going to do as if they know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's at some point in the last 10, 20 years, it became like a Catholic virtue to criticize the Pope.
Yeah.
And if you don't criticize the Pope, it means you're like less.
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
what is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Francis, and then before that, Benedict, and even John Paul II, I remember, what? Like, you have no idea what it's like to even be in charge of one person, much less a billion and something Catholics in the world. You have no idea what that's like.
It's just like the discussions that we're speculating about who the Pope is going to be during the election. Like
Very
it's all
similar.
being done by people that really don't know anything.
Don't know anything.
Like,
Yeah.
bags of water.
Bags of water.
Bags of water. Yeah.
That's a bad anthropology. What about food, man?
Food is here.
Is it here?
Food is here. You want to start eating?
Bring it in, man.
All right, let's eat. Make sure you get the one bite.
All right.
All right, today's food is from Living Room.
Shout out Living Room Cafe or Rancho.
So they have foods like pasta, pizza, other like common entrees, and then they have obviously coffee and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't need an advertisement. Everyone knows about them.
If you ever go there, you'll be bombarded by a lot of Chaldeans, just so you know.
Yeah.
I walked by the one in La Jolla.
Oh, okay.
I've seen people in there.
There's nothing like the OG location in La Jolla that they had. The original one, but they had to close that one down, unfortunately. But they opened that other one now
Awesome.
over there.
Did they have to, or did they choose to move down the street?
No, I think they had to.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That location was very prime.
Yeah.
Anyways, in other controversial news,
Yeah, please.
a picture has surfaced online recently where Father Andrew was in Michigan and thought it was a good idea to throw up a gang sign during a first communion mass.
It wasn't during mass.
It wasn't during mass?
A couple of clarifications.
Oh,
One,
okay.
it
See,
wasn't-
that's how
Yeah,
the media can
this is how
portray
things-
things. Yeah.
first of all, it was before. It was before or after. It was either before or after the first communion mass with my niece. I said, "Oh, Father," and he said, so it was me, a couple of priests, Bishop Francis, and they're getting ready. You know, oh, move here, smile, whatever. And so I'm sitting there, and my sister is watching because she was helping. It's her daughter that was taking first communion, and she was helping teach the classes, so she was there. And then so I saw her with her phone taking some like kind of pictures off the cuff, and so I did a blood sign as we were getting ready. What I meant by it is blood of Christ.
Okay.
So people misconstrued, they totally misunderstood my intention.
I'm
I
so
was
happy
saying
that's what you meant.
this is a celebration of the blood of Christ. I'm certainly not a member of a gang in Los Angeles. Okay,
Bro,
blood of Christ.
because I got messages about it. So I'm glad you clarified it so that people can hear from you, yourself.
Primary source.
So will this be a clip on Instagram?
No, it's just a
gonna be-
photograph on this one.
No, like
No,
this.
no. This right now
This
conversation.
interview.
Is
Oh,
it a clip or is it just gonna?
I think it should be, and I can argue, because the original thing was posted on Instagram and was seen by a lot of people.
Bishop Francis sent me a screenshot of it like the next day because I got back to him. He thought it was really funny. How's the chicken?
So it's actually good. So are we gonna like we're gonna put the picture in the clip, right? Like, you know, Andrew's gonna like put it up there.
Yeah,
Just
we-
give me that pasta, man.
We should bring more attention to it as much as possible.
There's some fence off of
Bro,
trying to
We're having an internal conflict.
one
One thing at a time, bro.
one noodle, bro.
Take your time. This is how God teaches us patience.
Guys, isn't this the saddest thing when this happens? After
Oh,
getting the pizza.
all gone.
That's like
Look.
That's fine. I'll take exactly 5 pastas. That's it. Thank you, man.
come
I'm
on,
gonna
bro.
do something,
Bro,
That's pretty tragic.
get some basid, man.
I got it. No, I got chicken. No.
I have a knife.
That's like tragedy, bro.
Don't you hate when that happens though?
What about the food in Italy?
It's good, bro. You know,
Was it good, man?
it's like you know.
It was good at a couple spots, honestly, bro.
but like you feel better though. And
Yeah.
that is true. You feel much like healthier,
Yeah.
lighter, less bloated.
Drinking coffee in Italy taught me to have a less sweet palate.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Coffee is amazing in Italy. I will give you that. And gelato is amazing in Italy.
Oh yeah. very
Their
good.
food, I think their food is still overrated. And I'm
There's
going to get a
still
lot of
some-
hate for that.
There's still something that's better in Italy with the coffee.
Yeah,
Coffee is amazing. in
always
Italy.
true.
There's something special about it.
it's always true. Yeah, it's the proper snack
Mhm.
in Europe, actually.
Mm-mm.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Mm,
Yeah,
you understood the assignment.
I
Yeah,
understood.
Oh, did I miss something?
I think you missed something, man.
Yeah, coffee and a
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And a donut.
Coffee.
There we
and
go.
donut.
There we
coffee and
go.
donut.
That's it.
Honestly,
The winning combination.
It is
On-
the best thing ever.
I just want to know how some people don't like donuts, bro. You don't like donuts, do you?
I love donuts. I just don't like sugar. The texture and feel of donuts is amazing.
Okay.
But once in a while, you'll see like sugar-free
He
donuts. here.
used to eat donuts for a while, remember? And
There's
then
no
he
sugar
stopped.
in donuts.
Yeah.
You remember when I ate
Dipping
donuts?
on
One of his
sugar
phases.
Do you remember
Yeah.
when I ate them? When Julie Merrim, who's our next door neighbor,
yeah.
used to work at Donut
Oh yeah,
something, the downtown, the fancy
donut
place.
factory or something. I don't know.
She would bring them to us like leftovers.
Donut bar.
Donut
Andrew's
bar.
saying. Yeah.
donut bar.
Leave it to the foodie.
Yeah. So they live next door to us in the seminary. So she would bring us some like at the end of the day.
Bro, remember the maple bacon one?
I would taste those, and then I would feel like like It would bother me, but it was worth it because it was so good. Yeah, you remember that, huh? Those were during your days?
The donut days?
No,
No,
those were not
no.
my days.
Before.
Yeah. I was introduced to donuts when I got to the seminary.
You never saw donut before.
No.
Oh,
You like this one?
that's good.
It was good.
Like add some lemon to it too. Very good.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Father Simon adds lemon to lemon.
Yeah, man. Did you guys see the video of the? I cannot believe they found this. There's a 1 second clip of the Pope at a Chicago White Sox game,
Yeah.
World Series from 2005.
2005,
It's
yeah.
1 second,
20 years ago.
and they
huh?
found it, dude.
Very scary how they found it. But it's sick.
How they found it and how fast they found it,
Yeah.
and how fast it spread.
That's the era, man.
But it's very comforting to know that the Pope of the Catholic Church is a baseball fan.
Did you see him sign a baseball?
That
signed
was
the
so
baseball.
funny, dude.
I did not see that.
Somebody came up to him with the baseball. He signed it.
What do you think he thinks of the Padres? Do you think he doesn't like them because they're Franciscans?
No, I think he doesn't like them because we fleeced them for
We got Tatis
for
from
Fernando
them?
Tatis.
Yeah, fleeced.
That was the first thing I said, actually. When someone said he's a White Sox fan, I said, wow, we stole Tatis from him. And the Pope.
For James Shields, dude.
Oh, then he has no idea what's
Nope.
happening.
But you know who Tatis is, right, Father Henry?
Do you?
No, he's a baseball player, I assume.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think he knew.
How Bricha. All right.
God bless.
God bless everybody. Peace out.
God bless everybody.
Pray for the Pope.
Pray for the Pope.
Pope Leo.
Pope Leo. Peace out.
Marleo.